welcome to a new week. Here we are together getting ready for our daily practice. I hope that you're doing well. We've had a bunch of new people. I'm talking to you, Goddess Temple app, joining the app this week. I hope you're enjoying it so far. Over the weekend, it was like an explosion of new people came in from all over the world. And for you, Facebook and YouTube, if you are interested in getting involved with the Goddess Temple app, networking, socializing. There's lots of different groups and content that you can enjoy. You can go check it out. It's in the App Store for the Apple's App Store and in the Google Play Store. And we are in the Mount Shasta Goddess Temple entering our final week of November. So our final week with La Santa Muerte. And for those new to our practice, in the temple, we honor Santa Muerte, the Mesoamerican folk saint who confers protection, love, benefit, and salvation upon her devotees, because she, as the agent of death, the goddess of death, knows when our time with her will come, and she can afford to help us, aid us, and provide for us up until that time. And we, in turn, can make a friend of death so that we're not so afraid and we're not so aversive to it. So when we work in the Mount Shasta Goddess Temple with La Santa Muerte, obviously I'm not from Mexico originally. I have been to her sacred shrine at Doña Queta's place in Tepito, Mexico City. I've done pilgrimage there. It was very significant for me because I had had a premonition that my father would die. And I went to her shrine in Mexico City and I brought her offerings and I asked for her to ensure that my father would have the kind of death he always wanted. And he had always said he wanted a death that was quick and painless, that he wanted to die in his own bed and just fall asleep and not wake up. And so I had had this premonition that my father was dying. I had had 3 times a premonition over the course of 2018. And then in early November, on November 1st, Dia de los Inocentes, I was at her shrine in Mexico City. I made my offerings. And when my father died 3 weeks later on November 26th, it was at home in his own bed. He just passed suddenly and painlessly. And so I have committed in this life to honoring La Santa Muerte because she heard my prayer, which was that I could sense that my father was dying. He was talking about dying. He didn't want to die, but he could feel it coming to. And then when I made my prayer, she gave him a holy death. So now you know a little bit more about why we honor La Santa in this temple. And so as part of that, I sang to her, and I found this prayer in Spanish online in a group about devotion to Santa Muerte, and I thought it just really resonated. Everything that it said was so empowering and beautiful, and so I set it to music, and now I'm going to sing this. Madre mía, Santa Muerte, ante las dificultades de la vida, ayúdame. En mis desaciertos, ilumíname. En mis soledades, acompáñeme. En las horas difíciles, consuélame. En más tentaciones, defiéndeme. En las penas y tristezas, fortaléceme. Con tu inmenso poder, protégeme. con tu infinito amor, ámame, con tu gran bondad, mírame, con tu mano providente, guíame, así sea por siempre. Amen. Se ve, se siente, la Santa es presente. So, let's find out what Santa Muerte's message is for us today to carry forth into our day, having presenced her wisdom. Over the weekend, our divination was to be like Malina Xochitl, and that was the description in the Jade Oracle about Malina Xochitl was to be the sorceress, the wise woman, the spiritual lead, the spiritual companion of the people. And so I hope that you spent your weekend engaged in ways of doing something of benefit magically to those you love or those in your community. And let's find out what our divination is today. Xilonen, the spirit of young corn. Espíritu del maíz tierno. Xilonen. Let's find out. This is such a beautiful card. Several different little ears of corn and leaves and green color with then also the comal, or not the comal, the what's it called? Say like a grinder. It'll come to me. All right, Xilonen, the spirit of young corn. While Chicomicoatl is the spirit of mature corn, Xilonen is she that lives like young corn, emphasizing her youth and innocence. A deity of sustenance, she was honored at festivals that included singing and dancing, and her priestesses wore garlands of marigolds and scattered flowers of the tobacco plant. Xilonen can signify youth or a youthful stage of a project or a state of innocence. She reminds you that if you want to have strong stalks and healthy crops, you will need to continue nurturing the young plant. Consider making an offering to honor all that nurtures the young corn in yourself. So this is a very maiden-oriented card, a card about maiden type energy. And you know, it's so funny. I was just thinking something over the weekend. So this is, bear with me. I guess today is a day of personal stories, but over the weekend, so last week, some of my students were teaching me about TikTok. I had not really delved too far into it. I had one or two friends who were looking at it, and I was kind of like, I don't know if I need anything else. I'm running an app. I've got all my other social media that I do, and I also have like a very busy day-to-day physical life in the mountains here. So I was like, well, you know, maybe I'll try. I'll just go look. And of course, you know, my Aquarius rising self, I was immediately addicted to TikTok. It's very addictive. I was really loving watching all the different people's expressions of their arts, their creativity. People will just, I know for some of you, this probably sounds silly because I'm sure if you're already on it, you already know this, but like, anyway, for me, it was surprising. It was like, oh, like these people are playing cello, and then these family is like all dressed up as the, you know, various different Power Rangers or whatever, Star Wars. And then like, here's somebody cooking a meal. And then here's somebody teaching you how to, you know, do a hack of life. I don't know. I was just completely mesmerized when I saw this. I was like, oh, everything is here. Everything. So anyway, as I was watching some of these videos, I started to reconnect with this energy that I myself haven't really felt in a while. It was like that maiden energy, that feeling of like, whatever, I'm in charge of my world, I'm living my own life. That like little sass that I remember having when I was a maiden, that little Miss Know-it-all feeling, kind of. And then also just that like indomitable feeling. And one of the things that people don't really talk about very much, but I really think it should be talked about, is that when you get older in a female body and you become perimenopausal, a lot of your confidence starts to wane. And people have described this waning of certain confidence as like, well, it's because I'm getting older, or it's because I don't look young anymore, or it's because I've, so other people might be critical and say, well, that person who's feeling like they're not so confident, they just, she's just like totally subscribed to patriarchal ideals. This should be the time of her life. But the reality is, it's a lot more complicated than that. It's not easy. We have to kind of realize that there are certain processes happening in these physical bodies that are depleting of a certain confidence, that make us sort of feel unsure, like anxiety attacks, night sweats, hot flashes. When your body starts doing things that you didn't see coming or didn't really know how to prepare for, your body, feels kind of like it's betraying you a little bit. You're like, wait a minute, I thought we were friends. But the other time in our lives when we have that feeling is when we're maidens and we're going through puberty. All of a sudden, the body is doing all these really wacky things, and our tempers are short and our emotions are high. I actually think that perimenopausal women and girls coming of age should spend more time together talking about our righteous feminist rage and talking about the feelings that we have about our bodies suddenly turning on us. Because I actually think we have a lot in common. So today, if you are the Shilonen, if you are the young corn maiden, if you are the one who is greening in your life, go find a woman between the ages of 40 and 50 and ask her, is your body going through changes that you don't understand? Because mine is too, and I want to talk about it. Or if you are a woman between the ages of like 40 and 50, 55, and your body's going through changes that you didn't expect or really understand, or even if you understood, you didn't know until they were happening, maybe for you, it would also be good to go out and find a young maiden to talk to and be like, you know what? I feel like I need to talk to you because you might have insight that I have forgotten about what it feels like to be in a body that's doing stuff that you're not really sure how that all happened. See what happens. We need more intergenerational connection like this. It's good for us all. It helps us further the cause of understanding and oneness. So that's our short bit for today. If you were just here for the divination, feel free to go on with your day, and I hope you have a good one. And for the rest of you who want to stay, we're going to do Guan Yin practice now, beginning with 3 prostrations before the shrine of Guan Yin. And let's take refuge. Namo Guru Be. I take refuge in the inner teacher. Namo Buddhaye. I take refuge in the great mother of compassion. Namo Dharmaye. I take refuge in the wisdom of the ages. Namo Sanghaye. I take refuge in the community of practitioners. And let's set our intention, a person, place, situation, or circumstance that will benefit from today's practice. And today I'm holding a friend who's going through it with COVID. And every day we're holding all those who are going through it with COVID. And let's recite the four immeasurables. May I be a source of loving kindness in this world and all worlds, bringing a generous heart to all my thoughts and doings. May I be a vehicle of compassion in this world and all worlds, ever mindful and aware of the tremendous suffering of others. May I be a brimming vessel of joy in this world and all worlds, delighting in the happiness of others as their suffering is alleviated. May I be a balance point of equanimity in this world and all worlds, seeing all as equals and all as deserving of goodness. Let's make our offerings. I light this candle as a symbol of the enlightening Dharma way. May it shine brightly for the benefit of all beings. I light this incense as an offering for Guanxin, she who hears the cries of the world, mother of all. Omahum. 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 Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind, and present clouds of every type of offering, actual and virtual. I confess all my destructive actions accumulated since beginningless time and rejoice in the meditation of all holy and ordinary beings. Please, Guanyin, remain until the end of samsaric existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of others to the great enlightenment. So now let's recite 108 recitations of Namo Guanxin Pusa, awakening Guanyin in our hearts. Namo Guan Shi Yin Pu Sa, 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 Namo Guan Shi Yin Pu Sa. Namo Guan Shi Yin Pu Sa, 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 Namo Guan Shi Yin Pu Sa. Namo Guan Shi Yin Pu Sa, 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 Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. 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 And this teaching from Padmasambhava, from his Dakini teachings. Whatever actions you engage in, do not do anything non-dharmic that fails to become the accumulation of merit and wisdom. Do not desire anything other than omniscient Buddhahood and benefiting sentient beings. Do not be attached to anything. Attachment itself is the root of bondage. Do not criticize other teachings and do not disparage people. All the teachings are ultimately indivisible, like the taste of salt. Do not criticize any of the higher or lower vehicles. They are identical in being the path to be journeyed, just like the steps on a staircase. You cannot know another person unless you can perceive with superknowledge, so do not criticize others. In general, all sentient beings are, by their very nature, spontaneously perfect Buddhas. They possess the essence of enlightenment. Do not examine other people's faults or delusions. Do not examine the limitations of others. Examine how you can change your own. Do not examine the shortcomings of others, but examine your own shortcomings. The greatest of evils is to hold religious prejudice and to criticize other people without knowing their mind. So give up prejudice as if it were poison. Thinking about that card at the beginning of the practice, Shilonen, the young corn maiden, and the energy of just how much ageism we have in our world right now. That teaching really resonates from Padmasambhava today. Again, every day it resonates. But there's such ageism. People kind of, older people feeling like younger people's opinions aren't valuable. Younger people feeling like older people don't know what they're talking about and are hopelessly out of touch. All of that falls under ageism, and all of it has a particular vector of effect on the female body. So before any of us goes to judge any other woman online, regardless of her age, regardless of how she looks, what she's wearing, regardless of what she's doing or saying that we might or might not agree with, let's today make the commitment that we're going to honor the sweetness, the kindness of the maiden's pure heart in ourselves today. And that we're going to just be like, oh, people just doing the things that they're doing. Okay, great. Let's honor that rather than condemning it. 108 recitations now of Om Mani Padme Hum. And we send out that pink, gold, green heart light of Guan Yin to the wider world, and especially to those who are suffering. Om Mani Padme Hum, 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 Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 And let's give thanks for our teachers. May all of my blessed teachers enjoy long, happy, healthy, productive lives and great support for their good works. May all beings benefit from their wisdom. May they enjoy a swift and happy rebirth. And long life prayer for Lama Dechen Yeshe Wangmo. Om Sosti. Through the powerful blessings of the immortal Pema Jungye and his consort, may the three secret qualities of the Dakini of Supreme Bliss Yeshe Wangmo be utterly stable, and may the light of her activities shine on the lotus groves of the teachings and of beings, so that they blossom in radiant splendor. And let's dedicate the merit. May the merit of this practice and all of my activities be of endless benefit to all beings in all realms, beginningless and continuous. May all obstacles be overcome and suffering cease at the sound of liberation. May all beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all beings have happiness and its causes. May we carry the essence of Guanyin in our hearts. Namo Guanxin Pusa. And we close with a bow to Guanyin, bow to one another, and bow to the inner teacher. Happy Monday, everybody. Let's have a good week. Let's make it a good week, as good as we can make it for as many people as possible. And if you chanted along with me today, leave your count in the comments. If you did one mala with me, it's 108. If you did 2 malas with me, it's 108 because it's 2 separate mantras. So 108 in the comments if that was what you did today. And let's see here. He says here, yes, there's a couple different comments for me to come and read later. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Have a good one.